name is Guion Foreman, President of the Chicago Police Board, and I am calling the board September 15th public meeting to order. To protect the public's health in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, this meeting is taking place remotely. Pursuant to the Illinois Open Meetings Act, I have determined that holding this meeting in person is not practical or prudent. The city of Chicago remains the subject of the governor's disaster proclamation due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and the disease continues to be a threat, especially to the unvaccinated and people with certain health conditions. We are therefore having the meeting remotely this month. This meeting is open to the public via video and audio conference and is being carried live by CAM TV. Members of the public are on mute in order to reduce background noise and disruptions. We have a court reporter this evening making a transcript. In addition to the police board members, we have several city officials here with us this evening. I will begin by taking attendance so it is clear who is participating in this meeting. Please say here after I read your name. Police Board Vice President Paula Wolf.
Here.
Board Member Stephen Block.
Here.
Board Member Marile Cusack.
Here.
Board Member Nanette Dorley.
Here.
Board Member Michael Eady.
Here.
Board Member Jorge Montes.
Here.
First Deputy Superintendent of Police, Eric Carter.
Good evening, here.
Chief of Staff of the Civilian Office of Police Accountability, Jay Westenese.
Here.
Acting Deputy Inspector General for Public Safety, Megan Carlson.
Here.
Deputy Chief of Chicago Police Department's Bureau of Internal Affairs, Tracy Walker.
Here.
Chief of the Bureau of Patrol, Brian McDermott.
Here.
Chief of the Bureau of Detectives, Brendan Dinahan.
Here.
And if I can ask if everyone can put themselves on mute, please. If everyone can mute. Thank you. Chief of the Office of Constitutional Policing and Reform, Angel Novales.
Present.
It was always somebody in school. Remember the kid who said present? That's Chief Novales. Executive Director of CPD's Office of Constitutional Policing and Reform, Tina Scahill.
Here, sir.
General Counsel to the Superintendent, Dana O'Malley. I can see you, but we couldn't hear you. She's on mute, but I can verify that she's here. Deputy Mayor for Public Safety, Eleanor Gottrich.
Here.
All right, great to have you. And Executive Director of the Police Board, Max Caproni.
Here.
Thank you. We will now proceed to the items on the meeting agenda. We will have time at the end of the meeting for public comments. Once again, members of the public are currently on mute in order to reduce background noise and disruptions. When we get to the public comment portion of the meeting, we will unmute each speaker. We're pleased this evening to have with us two members of the city's Community Commission for Public Safety and Accountability. Commissioners Anthony Driver and Romel Terry, who, along with 5 other Chicagoans, were recently appointed by Mayor Lightfoot. They are here to speak about the commission. I'll turn it over to our commission members. Welcome.
Everyone, and thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to meet you all as we've been appointed now for about 3 weeks, and we're in the process of getting to know the public safety infrastructure in the city of Chicago. I'd like to introduce myself very briefly. My name is Anthony Driver Jr. I am a lifelong Southsider. My family and myself have resided in the back of the yards in Inglewood's community since the 1960s. And I've also had the pleasure of working to pass this ordinance for the last 5 years, was a part of the coalition that eventually came together to work with the mayor's office as well as the city council to pass this ordinance. And I would also like to announce that our first public meeting will be held Thursday, September 29th at 6:30 p.m. at Malcolm X College. We would encourage everyone to come out, members of the public. This commission is really a chance for you to have your voice heard in the public safety infrastructure within the city. And we'd love to hear from you, and also would like to plug our district councils. So right now, Chicagoans all across the city are getting petitions to run for district councils. For each police district, there's 22 police districts in the city. There will be 3 district counselors per police district. We think that that is the beating heart of this ordinance. It gets to the core of what we're trying to do as far as having a hyper-localized solution to public safety in our city. And I would encourage everyone to sign up to run for those positions, or if you don't want to run yourself, to support someone. And I'm also joined by Interim Commissioner Ramel Terry, and I'd like to pass to her to offer remarks.
Thank you so much, Anthony, and good evening, everyone. Thank you all to the Police Board, President Guillen, for this opportunity to address the community. Very excited about this opportunity. As my colleague mentioned, I'm Ramel Terry. I am a lifelong Chicagoan and proud West Sider. I have worked a lot around police accountability issues, serving on the COPA Community Advisory Council, as well as participating in the legislation that actually formed COPA back when we were not as happy with IPRA. Have relationships with various community-based organizations, officers, you name it. I have those relationships. And so I'm really just excited and want to echo the sentiments that Anthony shared to invite all of you out to our upcoming public meeting on Thursday, September 29th, as well as encourage each and every one of you to engage with us. We are here to serve, and we look forward to bringing forth and elevating all voices at the table, the community, the officers, those who are working as it relates to oversight in this realm. So thank you all for this opportunity.
Thank you. So this is great information. So the 29th, 6 p.m. at Malcolm X College.
6:30.
6:30. Do you have a website up yet? I know the commission is new, but do you have a website? Where could members of the public find out more information?
Absolutely. It's chicago.gov/Chicago Community Commission.
Chicago Community Commission. Chicago.gov/Chicago Community Commission. And there is it listed on there to how I could get more information? If, let's say, if I was interested in running, where would I find that information?
Absolutely. So there's information on there about if you would like to apply to be a part of the commission for the next year. And also if you'd like to run for any of those district council seats. Okay.
And I know you said that it's petitions. Is there a timeline when one has to apply?
Yeah, so each police district has a unique amount of voters in the district. So there's a certain amount of signatures that you need to get. That's on the Board of Elections website. So on August 30th, petitioning began, and I believe November 21st it ends, and you have until the 28th to turn those nominating petitions in.
Okay. Board, any other questions for the commission members? So I would like to say, thank you very much for stepping up and doing this. It's a really big responsibility, and a lot of times you don't get the thank yous, and so I'll say thank you in advance, right? The work that we as the board have been doing, a lot of times we don't get the thank yous, and we don't do it for the thank yous, and so I strongly encourage you guys to remember these days when you were pushing to get this passed. It's important for our city, and you guys are now a very intricate part of our police accountability system. And I think that it's important that we, the residents of the city of Chicago, support you the same way on day one that we support you on day 365, right? And in order for the commission to work, I think it's incumbent upon all of us, everyone, to make this system work. We cannot just rely on the commission or the police board or COPA to solve all of the problems of our police accountability system. It truly will take all of us to be a part of this system. So again, really, I'm grateful for the work and thank you for your efforts.
Thank you.
Board, is there a motion to approve the minutes of the board's August 18th regular public meeting?
This is Paula Wolf. I so move.
Michael Eady, second.
The motion's been motion and second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. Our next regular public meeting will be held on Thursday, October 20th at 7:30 p.m. Whether this will be an in-person meeting or a remote meeting will be determined closer to the meeting date. The police board meets in executive session to consider personnel matters and litigation. Those discussions are closed to the public as authorized by sections 2C1, 3, 4, and 11 of the Illinois Open Meetings Act. A summary of the items discussed in the executive sessions is posted in the meeting minutes on our website. Is there a motion to close future executive sessions as authorized by the Open Meetings Act?
I move that as well, Paula Wolf.
Second, Michael Eady.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. I have several police disciplinary cases on the agenda this evening. As authorized by the Open Meetings Act, the Police Board has considered in a closed meeting one disciplinary case. The board will now take final action on this case. Regarding case number 21PB2995, is there a motion to find police officer Sheldon Thrasher guilty of using deadly force without justification and to discharge him from the Chicago Police Department?
So moved, Paula Wolf.
Second, Michael Eady.
I will now call on members of the board for their votes. Wolf,
Aye.
Block,
Aye.
Cusack,
Aye.
Doorley,
Aye.
Edie,
Aye.
Montez,
Aye.
and I vote in favor of the motion. Voting in favor are board members Wolf, Block, Cusack, Doorley, Edie, Montez, and myself. The motion passes by a vote of 7-0. Is there a motion to adopt the written findings and decisions that have been reviewed by all board members who participated in the case?
So moved, Paula Wolf.
Second, Michael Eady.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. The written decision in the case on which the board took final action this evening will be entered as of today's date, sent to the parties, and then posted on the board's website. There are also 3 announcements of disciplinary rulings on the agenda tonight. Board members Wolf, Block, and Montez will make these announcements.
This is Paula Wolf. I was randomly selected from the police board's membership to consider one matter on which the chief administrator of the Civilian Office of Police Accountability and the superintendent of police did not agree regarding the discipline of a police officer. In request for review number 22-16, the chief administrator recommended that police officer Stephen Smith be suspended for 60 days for using excessive force during an arrest. The superintendent did not agree and that he recommended that the allegations be classified as not sustained and that no discipline be imposed. After considering the matter, it's my opinion that the superintendent did not meet his burden of overcoming the chief administrator's recommendation for discipline. A copy of the written opinion will be posted on the police board's website as required by the municipal code. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Jorge Montes. I was randomly selected from the police board's membership to consider one matter on which the chief administrator of the Civilian Office of Police Accountability and the superintendent of police did not agree regarding the discipline of 2 police officers. In request for review numbers 22-18 and 22-19, the chief administrator recommended that the police officer Mark Palazzolo be suspended for using excessive force, arresting a person without justification, and failing to timely activate his body-worn camera. The chief administrator recommended that Officer Erica Hernandez be reprimanded for arresting a person without justification and failing to timely activate her BWC as well. Superintendent did not agree with certain findings and recommended that both officers be reprimanded. After considering this matter, it is my opinion that the superintendent did not meet the burden of overcoming the chief administrator's recommendations for discipline. A copy of the written opinion will be posted on the board's website as required by the municipal code.
This is Stephen Block. I was randomly selected from the police board's membership to consider one matter on which the chief administrator of the Civilian Office of Police Accountability and the superintendent of police did not agree regarding the discipline of a police officer. In request for review number 22-17, the chief administrator recommended that police officer Levon London receive a minimum of a 180-day suspension up to and including discharge from the police department for using excessive force during a protest in Chicago's Hyde Park neighborhood on May 31st, 2020. The superintendent did not agree with certain findings and recommended a 180-day suspension. After considering this matter, it is my opinion that the superintendent did not meet the burden of overcoming the chief administrator's recommendation for discipline. A copy of the written opinions will be posted on the board's website as required by the municipal code.
Thank you. Next, I think the first deputy, I don't see his camera on, so let's go to, oh, here we go. First deputy, I'll ask for your report, please. You're on mute first.
All right, sorry about that. Good evening, Mr. President. Good evening, board. Let me start by recognizing the board and our residents for working alongside the Chicago Police Department. It is only together that we can enhance public safety and impact residents and visitors across Chicago. Since the last police board meeting, residents celebrated Labor Day and joined the city's Mexican American community in commemorating Mexican Independence Day. Because of our officers' dedication both to the holiday weekend and this past weekend's events concluded with little incidents related to the citywide celebration. The department remains rooted in ensuring visibility, engagement, and collaboration. We made sure our officers were visible and present in our neighborhoods and that work in our communities is paying off. As in previous months, we're maintaining double-digit declines in shootings and homicides. And this year so far, there's been a 15% decline in homicides, with shootings down nearly 19% citywide compared to 2021 at the same time frame. In the top 55 beats, homicides are down 22%, and shootings are down 30% since we began focusing resources in those beats. Safety is our top priority in every community, and in just the first 13 days of this month, officers have recovered 471 guns. Since the start of the year, we've collected more than 9,000 firearms. That's a 3% increase over the same time frame in 2021. In addition, the department recently launched our Caravan Task Force, which enforces ordinances for illegal drifting and drag racing. Already, we've made 9 arrests, impounded 7 vehicles for unlawful activity on city streets, and received more than 20 impound requests. The men and women of the Chicago Police Department are working around the clock to make Chicago safer. At the beginning of the month, officers working in the gang and narcotics divisions within the Bureau of Counterterrorism made more than 24 arrests and 3 major takedowns on the west side of Chicago. Operation Shattered Forks, Operation Casa Diablo, and Operation Double Stack tracked gangs, guns, and illegal drugs across the 10th, 12th, and 15th Police District for several months. Officers seized vehicles, firearms, and illicit drugs with an estimated street value totaling over $208,000 and recovered approximately $130,000 in cash. These takedowns were the result of steadfast collaboration across the department, and during the operations, Gang and Narcotics Division shared information with the Bureau of Detectives that led the arrest in an active homicide investigation. We won't stand for violence or illegal drugs in any community, and we won't let gangs destroy our neighborhoods. The men and women of the Chicago Police Department are working around the clock. We're not only holding offenders accountable, but we're also working to restore community trust. Youth programming such as Cops and Kids Chess and our sports and arts leagues are a part of that effort. They provide safe spaces for students in Chicago and after school. And active partnerships with the city departments and agencies like Chicago Public Schools and the Chicago Park District, as well as service organizations, also help to engage youth and young people. The department is also keeping up the pace when it comes to recruitment and building a diverse department. So far this year, we've hired more cops than in all of 2019. Women made up at least 25% of each of the 2 graduating classes this year, and more than 70% of our new officers were people of color in the last recruit class. Recruit class 21-. We know enhancing public safety and building a better department go hand in hand, and making Chicago stronger is harder work, but it's not impossible. However, it will always be work that we will have to do together to make Chicago safer. Thank you, Mr. President, and I'll turn it right back over to you.
Thank you. Now for the COPA report, Chief of Staff, Jay Weston.
Thank you, President Foreman. Good to be with everybody tonight. Chief Administrator Kirsten regrets that she's unable to attend this meeting, so I'll give our briefing tonight. I'll begin with a brief report out on COPA's complaint intake and case closure data, and then highlight a few other agency initiatives and provide a brief look ahead to 2023. So to start, in August, COPA received 505 new complaints and notifications. Of that 505, 136 fell within COPA's jurisdiction for investigation. Of those cases within our jurisdiction, 31% of those new complaints contain allegations relating to the Fourth Amendment. In other words, allegations involving improper search or seizure. Regarding notifications in August, COPA received 3 notifications related to officer-involved shootings. Regarding investigations concluded in August, we closed a total of 84 cases. 18 of those 84 cases contained at least one sustained allegation. Across all allegations in those 84 cases, just to note, many cases involve more than one allegation of misconduct. 47% of the allegations resulted as sustained. COPA also closed 3 officer-involved shooting investigations in August. Turning to community engagement efforts, COPA's team was active in the month of August. COPA attended a total of 26 different events. For example, I'll highlight that we attended the National Night Out on August 2nd, which is an annual community building event that promotes community partnerships with the public safety system and neighborhood camaraderie. We attended multiple Chicago public school events surrounding the first day of school. We attended multiple mobile city hall events, which are organized by the city clerk and designed to bring city services directly to neighborhoods across the city. And finally, I'll highlight that with the support of Commissioner Rachel Arfa and members of the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities, COPA staff participated in the Department of Streets and Sanitation's Clean and Green initiative by spending an afternoon clearing and beautifying a vacant lot in Inglewood. These events are a great opportunity to get out in the community, and we've enjoyed community members lending a hand in the cleanup efforts. So we're looking forward to partnering with other city agencies again for another cleaning effort on the west side this month. Relative to transparency releases, I'll note that COPA had no new video postings pursuant to the city's video release policy in the month of August. That said, we had one release this past week, which is available for review on COPA's case portal. Relative to new or revised COPA policies addressing requirements set out in the consent decree, though COPA had no policies posted for public comment in the month of August, we anticipate posting a revised policy addressing protocols surrounding sworn affidavits later this month, which will be available for public comment on our website, which is chicagocopa.org. Like all other city departments, COPA has been hard at work preparing its budget request for 2023. Just to give some backdrop, last year in our budget request process, we focused our efforts on establishing, staffing, and operationalizing the Video Release and Transparency Unit, which is designed to deliver on transparency and video release mandates, as well as FOIA mandates. That unit is now presently staffed and operational. So we're very pleased with that and happy with the progress that we've been able to make with that over the course of the year. This year's budget effort will focus on building capacities to ensure long-term consent decree compliance and positioning COPA to fully inhabit mandates within its enabling ordinance, which address identifying patterns of practices of misconduct, highlighting operational policy or training concerns, and recommending revisions to Chicago Police Department policy and practices. Finally, I'll note that tomorrow, September 16th, will mark COPA's 5-year anniversary. This is a proud moment for COPA, as well as an opportunity to reflect on the progress during this period. This progress is reflected in the quality and thoroughness of the agency's investigative work. robust efforts to advance the culture of policing and build trust with the community and provide enhanced transparency. Police reform, and specifically COPA, would not have made any significant progress without the hard work and dedication of community partners, public safety leaders, elected officials, and the work of COPA staff, all of whom have worked so diligently to promote accountability for the residents of Chicago, civilian and sworn. Thank you for the time, and back to you, President Foreman.
Thank you. And I'll just take a point of privilege to say congratulations on the 5 years. I know that, you know, it hasn't been always easy. It certainly hasn't always been fun. But we're seeing how COPA is, you know, truly being a part of this accountability system as we all go through this consent decree, right? And we work to make the system better. We now have a new partner with the commission, and I know that they will work closely with all of us to ensure that we have a great system going forward. I will now call upon members of the public who signed up in advance to speak. To ensure that we have time to hear from all speakers, there's a 2-minute time limit on comments. Those participants to unmute yourself when you're called, please dial *6. Our first speaker, Lolita Hendricks. Lolita Hendricks. Lolita Hendricks. Okay. Our next speaker, Dejay Allen from the Youth Council.
Hello, my name's Ajay and I'm part of the Youth Council. And we just recently rebranded from the, the Police Accountability Council, and we rebranded to the Youth Organizing Until Trauma Heals Council, just so that we could have a broader scope of issues that we could deal with and have an impact on. And right now we're at the beginning of our second term. Last year was our first term, and we are just like outreaching and trying to get more people to come join. And that's really where we are in this process right now, and kind of planning so we can do more stuff this year, because last year we had our panel event. So this year we're trying to do more, and for that we need more people. And so I'm going to put the link in the chat for the application if anybody knows any young people. I think it's 16 to 24, that age range, that would be interested.
Can you tell us the link, and because not everyone, we have CAN TV, so they can't always see chat. So we try not to really do the chat. So if you can just read it to us, and we can try to spread the word. You can put it in the chat, and then we can have it and spread the word.
Yeah, it's a Google form, but I don't know if I can.
Website or anything that we can go to, or a place where.
Oh, it will be on our Instagram.
Okay, and what's your Instagram?
The CYCPA_.
CYCPA_ at CYCPA_ for everyone who's social media savvy, and you can get all the information.
Yeah.
All right.
That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you again for your continued participation. For everyone, I think it's critical that we encourage our young people to be a part of this system. They have a lot more runway than we do. And, you know, I've personally have kind of witnessed and gotten to know some of them. In fact, even one of the new council members is one of the youth council members as well, right? So how do we get our young people involved in making this system better? Our next speaker, Tamiko Holt. Tamiko Holt. We have Tamiko Holt available.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening, all. My name is Tamiko Holt, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Hendricks family. Treasure Hendricks was a young woman that was found dead in a former police officer, Charlie Barrel RV, last year, August 2021. The family's concern, my concern, it should be the public's concern, as the non-investigation that took place with Treasure Hendricks' death. And today, we're here to speak on behalf of that non-investigation. And I'm trying to understand that why we don't think that when it's one of our own, meaning the Chicago PD, why would we think that the investigation should be more scrutinized to make sure that everything was done according to your policies and your procedures? None of this happened. So many unanswered questions just for lay people. I'm not talking about people that worked in that space for many years. I'm talking about lay people with common sense that has real common sense questions that has not been answered. And with that being said, this is not going away. And the inaction of everyone involved that we trust to have our best interests at heart is very disturbing. Now, we as taxpayers, and as a Black woman living in Chicago, and I'm seeing the surge of Black women coming up missing and pretty much coming up dead in garbage cans, and nobody has nothing to say about it. It's a problem. We're watching, we're pretty much starting to rise and pretty much organizing. It's a problem that needs to be addressed. But when it's one of our own that we trust to serve and protect, and the agency that pretty much, the department that's supposed to pretty much be surrounding, serving, and protecting the citizens that we pay good money for to do this, we have to do something. Where nobody is above the law.
So Ms.
one.
Ms. Holt, I'm sorry, your time is up, but let me ask a question. I'm not sure, are you asking about CPD investigating this? I'm not really sure.
I'm talking about all the powers that be with the checks and balance systems that we claim we have in place. Where are they? They're not showing up. Where are they? Does that make sense?
It does, but I want to try to not just listen to you, but try to see if there's some action that we can take rather than just listening to you.
And basically what I'm saying is no one has contacted the family concerning this. Okay. No one has even made it look like that they were even trying to investigate this.
Okay.
To make sure that what you say happened to this young woman actually happened.
All right. First Deputy, can I ask you to if we need the information for Max to get in contact, but is this something that I can ask you to follow up on, please?
Yes, sir. If she could get the information to Max, we'll follow up, and I'll have Chief of Detectives Dinahan give a look into it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And
Thank you very much.
Ms. Holt, I'm sorry for you and the family's loss.
Thank you very much.
Our next speaker, Yesenia Puebla. Yesenia Puebla.
Yes. Hi. Yes. Good evening. Yeah. So the release of COPA's final investigation is a damning indictment of CPD Superintendent David Brown, Police Board member Stephen Block is on this call, and Mayor Lori Lightfoot. I quote from the report: COPA has determined Officer Solano's use of deadly force against redacted on March 31st, 2021 to be without justification and in violation of General Order 03-02. COPA further determined that Officer Solano failed to properly activate his body-worn camera, failed to properly load his firearm, and failed to follow his training with respect to foot pursuits. The report states, accordingly, COPA recommends separation from the department. So this is yet another incident in which CPD is disregarding the actions of a killer cop on streets of Chicago while putting a gun back in his hand. The mayor-selected police board member, Stephen Block, made the final decision to ignore COPA and sided with another mayoral appointee, Police Superintendent David Brown, in the process. There must be an investigation into how the police board decided the case, and all records must be released for the public to see, including the statements of Evelyn Solano and Sammy Encarnacion justifying the murder they committed. The alleged police oversight in Chicago is rigged at every point in favor of the police. Stephen Block was able to block COPA's recommendation as a single member of the police board. If he had agreed with COPA's recommendation to fire the officers, it would still have proceeded to a hearing with the whole board. So the public saw Block's ruling before we were even allowed to read COPA's summary. At every point in this process, Chicago officials have decided that protecting the reputation of CPD came before the openness to the public. Anthony should be here today, Anthony Alvarez, he should be with his daughter and the rest of his family that has been demanding answers since March 31st, 2021. The entirety of the system of policing in Chicago is denying this family justice. Evan Solano and Sammy Encarnacion must face federal civil rights charges for the violation of Anthony Alvarez's civil rights immediately. Adam Toledo, 13-year-old from Little Village, should also be here. He was murdered 2 days before Anthony, which speaks to how police continue to not be punished for murdering young people in the city. There needs to be an investigation for the CPD's handling of cases that lead to the death and brutality of our communities. Justice for Anthony Alvarez. Thank you.
Thank you. So to respond to your comments, our system is currently set up that if the superintendent and COPA have a disagreement, one member of the board has the opportunity to review the information that both sides present. Based on that information, that board member gets to make the decision as to whether or not the superintendent overcame COPA's recommendations. In that particular case that you talked about, board member Block made that recommendation based on significant information that he had at his disposal, the same way any of us would, right? That's the way our system is set up. And so.
Yes, I understand. But
wait. The time is up. So you have the opportunity to take a look at the police board to get a good understanding of what this process is, right?
All right, now I'm responding.
We have the opportunity to go and try to change the way the processes work. This is the way
and
our
you will change. Yeah, thank you for agreeing. I totally needed your permission.
This is the way that our process works. We have the opportunity the same way that the commission came and they were able to make some changes. As the members of the public, we have the opportunity to make changes to our system. This is the way that our system works. And so I invite you to continue to come back. But this is the way that our system works. So thank you. Our next speaker, Fred McGee. Fred McGee. Next speaker, Cynthia Hendricks. Cynthia Hendricks. Our next speaker, Catherine Hinchek. Catherine Hinchek. Next speaker, Cameron Siddiqui.
Hello, yes, this is Kamran. The release of COPA's final investigation is a damning indictment of CPD Superintendent David Brown, Chicago Police Board member Stephen Block, and Mayor Lori Lightfoot. I quote from the report, COPA has determined Officer Solano's use of deadly force against redacted on March 31st, 2021 to be without justification and in violation of General Order 03-02. COPA further determined that Officer Solano failed to properly activate his body-worn camera, failed to properly load his firearm, and failed to follow his training with respect to foot pursuits. The report states, accordingly, COPA recommends separation from the department. This is yet another incident in which CPD is disregarding the actions of a killer cop on the streets of Chicago while putting a gun in the back in his hand. The mayor-selected police board member, Stephen Block, made the final decision to ignore COPA and sided with another mayoral appointee, Police Superintendent David Brown, in the process. There must be an investigation into how the police board decided this case. All records must be released for the public to see, including the statements of Evan Solano and Sammy Encarnacion justifying the murder they committed. The alleged police oversight system in Chicago is rigged at every point in favor of the police. Stephen Block was able to block COPA's recommendation as a single member of the police board. If he had agreed with COPA's recommendation to fire the officers, it would still have proceeded to a hearing of the whole board. The public saw Block's ruling before we even were allowed to read COPA's summary. At every point in this process, Chicago officials have decided that protecting the reputation of CPD came before openness to the public. Anthony should be here today. He should be with his daughter and the rest of his family. I would also like to point out that there was such a long delay after your final release, COPA's final release on January 27th. Everything you have done has been to delay and obstruct justice. These families are waiting for justice and you have obstructed it. I know what you said about the process, but Really, the process is broken. Anthony Alvarez should be here with his family. Adam Toledo should, and we will never stop fighting for justice. Justice for Anthony Alvarez. Thank you.
Hey, Cameron, are you still there? Cameron?
Yes.
Did you get an opportunity to read the decision?
Yeah, I did.
And so I think that there was a very full explanation as to the evidence that was there and why the decision was made. So I would ask you to take another look at it and go from
I
there.
also read the numerous violations in COPA's report, the numerous things that Evan Solano and Sammy Encarnacion did wrong. I mean, the fact that a statement wasn't taken from Evan Solano until like April, and then they want to say that there was no like possible collusion between the officers, it's just ridiculous. I mean, this has taken such a long thing. That's not even to say that Superintendent Brown waited like 175 days after COPA's release. He was supposed to make a decision in 90 days. So there's no oversight. The cops can kill whoever they want. They've shot another person, Raymond Comer, on the 2100 block of West Adams. There's no oversight. So these things keep happening.
So there's absolutely oversight. I would strongly suggest there's an opportunity to apply for the commission, for the district council positions. We've talked about that earlier.
It's just a rubber stamp for the police's decision. That's been proven.
Well, this commission will be run by the people. You have an opportunity to participate. So I would strongly suggest that you do so. Our final speaker is Mr. Robert Moore.
Yeah, Mr. Foreman, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, guys. First of all, I never, because I'm on the 2 minutes and I don't know what it is, because I have a stopwatch on it right now, but and I just run out of time, and that's just the way it is. But I'm finishing all of my meetings that I wasn't able to finish with the following closer. May the souls of the faithful departed to the mercy of God rest in peace, and may perpetual light shine upon them. The big problems are lack of adequate priorities. That's the source of all the problems, along with the fallen human condition and the fact that you have 100 satanic pedophiles, or actually 300, the 10 families that push the buttons and pull the strings and have such enormous technological capacity, all the different patents and trademark applications that have been made classified so that us goyim can't get that information and fix all the problems in the world. There's just so many evils that are involved. What is the basis for the absence of the superintendent from this meeting?
Mr.
I'm
Moore,
going to move on. Yes, and I'm complaining about that because, pardon?
let's not use up your time for this.
Okay, gotcha. I'm complaining about that because it shows I can't see how he cannot participate. Okay, correction from earlier meeting, because I have to protect my estate and myself. RJM, Robert J. Moore, is in no way suicidal and never has been. When RJM stated that to anyone about ever committing suicide, I have been there. RJM was not referencing suicidal predisposition, as RJM has known for 55 years now that no human being ever possesses the authority to take his or her own life. The message RJM was endeavoring to convey was that RJM has been subjected to temptations to despair of salvation, which are most painful indeed. And RJM at age 62 understands the difficulties and sufferings of a person in a position in the Chicago Police Department who's trying to do the right thing. It is extremely difficult. You're between a rock and a hard place. You're Serpico. You're Terrence Hickey, the Oklahoma City hero who got gunned down, okay? You are Pat Tillman, a friendly fire, just ending up dead. You are in a really difficult position. So the Institute of St. Michael the Archangel wants it to be known that we're out here. Dr. Abraham Lowe, mental health through will training. RJM cannot recommend this enough.
Mr. Moore,
Am I done?
your time is up. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. All right, fine.
All right, thank you. Miss Lolita Hendricks, were you able to join, Miss Hendricks?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Lolita Hendricks, and I am a citizen of Chicago as well as an employee of the city of Chicago. Last year, my niece was killed, I believe, on August 19th of 2021. Here's my request. We have the police department not looking at the case clearly. COPA was present at what was an autopsy. However, the family was never told that she had even passed away. COPA was also present, and they documented a lot of information that was contrary to what was at the scene according to the fire department. So we got a lot of messed up information coming to us as a family, telling us this is how my niece passed away. Sadly, what we are seeking and what we are not getting is constant communication from the police department. We're also not getting information that would have been from our FOIA requests. We're also not getting information as it relates to how she died. She had illegal drugs introduced into her system, and there is nothing that speaks to the police department doing further investigation on that. And her case was closed. And so the officer that did the case reportedly is a friend or a partner in friend with the person that we believe is the culprit in her demise. And we're seeking more response from the police department and a clear documentation from the police department that attests to how they investigated this case. Why were none of us interviewed to talk about what we know about our niece, my niece, and in fact, her mother, who's also on the line, but she couldn't get through into the system for some reason. It wouldn't let her through. So I'm hoping that the police department will reopen this case and that the police department will actually do an investigation as it relates to Treasure Nicole Hendricks, who was, in my opinion, murdered. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Hendricks. And as I stated to Ms. Holt, sorry for your loss. The first deputy is going to have someone make sure to get in touch with you all and get some additional information. But one thing, Chief of Staff Weston she mentioned that COPA was also involved at some point. Can you also, well, I'll have Max reach out to you. Can you also take a look at this? And I just want to make sure that you know, we've looked at this in all the manners that it's supposed to be looked at. And let's get back to the family to let them know kind of where you are from a COPA perspective. The first is going to have, you know, he's going to look into it as well.
Absolutely. We'll coordinate a response here and reach back out.
All right. Thank you very much. At this time, all members of the public who signed up to speak have been called. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Yes, this is Paula Wolf. First, I want to welcome the CCPSA members. Congratulations. Look forward to working with you, and I move that we adjourn.
Is there a second? All right, I'll make the second. No, I can't make the second.
I'll make the second.
All right. I thought you guys really liked meeting. All right, we have a first and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you. The motion passes and the meeting is adjourned. I wish everyone peace.
Peace.
Thank you.